Hi, my name's Erin, and I'm going to be trying to overcome my intense camera shyness today to talk to you about something that's very important to me, which is collage, where I think of it as kind of drawing with paper. If you're new here, like I am, I'm a designer and an artist. I make things professionally, but I also make things personally all the time. I've made this couch cover. I made these cushion covers. I make quilts. I've made like a quilted banner that's like an ode to my favorite donut shop. I've made a fake stained glass window that I put up in the dead of winter because it was really depressing here. A mural that I painted on our shed with my partner. I've made things out of wood. I've taken woodworking classes. I've made a coffee table. Yeah, I'm always just kind of puttering and trying to find new ways to make things, new like analog skills to learn. Lately, I've been super into collage, and I think this is all started because my partner had a collage themed birthday party. We were really fortunate. We had some friends gift them with existing like construction paper that they had then spray painted to make their own kind of like unique kind of colors and textures and patterns with. And I highly recommend this. So, in terms of like actual materials, oh, and I'll just mention as well, like this isn't really a tutorial as much as it is a video about process, just kind of walking you through my process and how I like to kind of do these things and hopefully kind of inspire you for some different ways that you can kind of work on this too. Important to me at least is to have friends gift you with spray painted construction paper that you can use. But if they don't do that, which is okay. Not all friends have to do this, but our friends do. We're lucky. You can make your own. So you can just take spray paint, go outside, and just go to town spray painting. If you take existing kind of colored spray paint and do it on top of different colored construction paper, you can make some really interesting and unique textures. You can also draw on top of construction paper to give it like a little more zhuzh. You can use crayons. I've been really into using these paint sticks, which I think are like children's art supplies. They're like a non-smudge, quick drying. I don't know if they're they can't be water based. I don't know what they are, but they're great. It feels like drawing with like a big tube of lipstick. So you just kind of make your own like textures or materials, or kind of like play around with the color of the existing paper before you start working with it. I think this just helps add like a little more dimension and like flavor to your actual kind of like colored rough material that you're working with. I think in terms of like actually doing this, the most important thing is just experimentation and play. I find collage and drawing with paper like this really good for when you're in kind of like a creative rut or need to like let go of expectations around outcome and just kind of focus on like the process and doing what feels good. What I like to do for this too is have like kind of a, I don't know, I don't like to go into it with a specific idea in mind of exactly what I anticipate I want to make, but rather pull from this like repository of what I call your visual language, or think of as my visual language, which is like the things that you already draw and are drawn to and come really naturally to you that you like drawing. So for me, like a lot of these things are like simple. They're not like complex or like, I don't know, super fancy things to draw. They're just the things that I find really appealing. Like I really like drawing flowers and like little flames and matchsticks and houses and rocks and portraits and dogs and like little houses and shooting stars and little interior scenes or exterior scenes of home. And so you kind of just like pull from that well, so you can sit down in front of the paper and just kind of start cutting shape and form and be like surprised and delighted by what comes out. If you don't have this kind of like visual language or repository, or if this sounds stressful, you can always just plan it out and kind of have an idea in advance of what you'd like to do. You could draw images on the reverse of the construction paper and then cut them out so that when you flip them around, they're right side up. The other thing that you can do is you can kind of artificially create this visual language or repository. I think about this all the time when I think of horses, which are like a thing that are famously hard to draw from memory and like have your own version of. So one way you could do this is sit down, get reference image of like a horse and sit down and draw it, and also draw it badly and draw it over and over and over again from the reference until you can take that reference image away and draw just from the drawings you've been doing, and kind of keep doing that until you kind of have your own shorthand for like what a horse looks like. Also, these things don't have to be good. Like, they don't have to be technically sophisticated. It can just look like it's just meant to look like your horse. It doesn't have to look like a real horse in the real world or anyone else's horse. I don't know. That's pretty important to me. So I want to learn how to make my own short form of like a Clydesdale. I think I've drawn a Clydesdale like once in a way that I was happy with. And so I'm like aiming for that degree of like sophistication, like no, simplification, not sophistication. I think that would be really fun. So I think maybe I'll try that to kind of buff up my visual language. But yeah, once you feel like you have like an idea in mind of how you can be free from expectation and the kinds of things that you like to draw, then you can actually start to do your collage. So to do this, I just kind of recommend like letting go of expectations and outcome, sit down and dive in by just starting to like cut paper, focusing on color and form and composition. A great thing about doing this is that you can just kind of cut things out, put them on the page or like whatever kind of art board or composition you're kind of making, whatever your flat form is, and move them around. And if you don't like the position, you can change it. If you don't like the color or material you used, you can change it. Sometimes I take a shape that I've cut out that I don't like in one texture, I put it over top of another one and then trace out a new one. You can do lots of like fun things. The great thing about collage too is like there doesn't really have to be any waste for the most part. You can actually just keep all your scraps and all the little things that you cut out that you don't use and just repurpose them and use them again. For this purpose, we just have like a great big bin in our house that's just full of the collage materials. So we take it out when we're getting to work, and then when we're done, we just kind of throw all of our waste into the bin and pull from it like another time. If you chop something up, you don't like it, you just keep it and use it somewhere else. I did an example collage for this video, and so I actually kind of cheated and I just did like a riff on existing composition I had made without a plan previously. For these purposes, I was worried that the camera would overheat if I left it both mic'd up, recording me doing collage and showing how long it actually takes me to do a collage if I'm just kind of doing it without a plan. So I faked it and made a couple of collages for this just to show the process of actually filming. But this can be really exciting and like a really kind of fun, playful way to like break out of your routine and try something new and play and experiment. And it's really kind of meditative. I've done a couple of different collages inspired by this video, just thinking about what I would actually need to put in the video to make it kind of dynamic or interesting at all. And so that kind of inspired me to do some new things with collage I haven't done before. Like I started cutting out like the same shape over and over again to kind of make a very, very simple and like naive stop motion animation of like a flickering match with a flame. So I'm really excited to see how that turns out. If it turns out well, I'll include it here. I also made what I thought could hopefully be like an animation of like a flower kind of like blooming and growing, which I thought would be cool. I tried a new technique where instead of cutting everything out perfectly crisply, I tore the tops of the tulip to give them like a more organic shape and look to them. Yeah, I don't know. I really hope that this video somehow inspires you to like pick up a scalpel and some construction paper and make your own little collages as well. And yeah, who knows? I might end up making some more videos about like creative process or the things that I'm working on or the things that I hope to make if this goes well. But truly my goal is that 5 of my friends watch this and 5 friendly strangers watch this. And that's it. That's like peak for me. That would be great. All right. I hope that you have fun. And if you do end up making something, I hope that you share it with me and show me what you've made. All right. Nice having you here. See you next time.